Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com.
Welcome into yet another Chief Talk experience here at the Bob the Cigar Guy Traveler's Rest Dream Builders Studio. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me bring you in a little closer. Big Head Chief here. Welcome into the show. I am so happy and so glad to have you here with us. That's right. You and you and you. And even you way back there, you got the seat in the back. Welcome into the show, Season 7, Episode 19. Tonight's show is titled The Push for 10K. That's just because I really didn't take time to think of any other title this evening. But honestly, that is one of our goals this year is to push for 10,000 subscribers here on the Bob the Cigar Guy YouTube channel. We are at 9,100. So we are actually 9,110. So we are less than 900 people away from kicking this thing in its teeth. So let's keep the good vibes going before we jump into the main production of the evening. I want to say a big welcome to Jim, Jurasex Supremo, Tobacco, Gary Brooks, Cigar, Pop, Dan, Burns, Gary, Zanstra. Retired Rookie Cigars is here for a second week. Just found out I get to be a helper for the Green River Distillery booth at my old Kentucky Earth Saturday. So that's pretty cool. That is more than pretty cool. That is super dope. Jay Bates strolling in here. How are you doing, my bravo? Let's see. Matt Brugger, Ron Smith. What is going off? Why is Chief Modoc in the chair? I gotta go back to Super Big Head for Modoc. You know Modoc, Bob the Cigar Guy. I do. Speaking of Bob the Cigar Guy, let me come over here and add Bob the Cigar Guy to the stage. Pull my face back just a little bit here.
Hello, everybody. This is Bob the Cigar Guy on the Chief Cam.
All right, let's cut the music and welcome everybody into yet another wonderful week of Chief Talk. I want to know, what are you smoking? What are you drinking? We already had somebody say they were Retired Rookie Cigars is smoking the new Vitola of the Blackbird Superb. It's a box pressed. Ooh, if you know me and my love for cigars and their shapes, box pressed is my favorite way to go. Let's see. Well, we've got HD Chief and Bob. Luckily, I don't have to take any medicine for that. How are you fine people today? Jay Bates wants to know. I also want to know, how are you fine people today? Now, before we do get any farther into the show, I am going to, I'll leave you up on the screen, Bob Cigar Guy. This evening's show and cigar is dedicated to a brother of the leaf, a brother in general, and somebody that we've had the immense pleasure and opportunity to hang out with and spend time with over the past few years. We first met him in 2019 down at the Louisiana Barn Smoker. Mark Ryan is responsible for the processing of a lot of the tobacco that goes into the Pappy Van Winkle Family Reserve barrel aged fermented Cigars. Mark Ryan owns the La Poche Perique processing facility down in New Orleans, and he passed away, unfortunately, this past week. We had been in contact with some of his family over the past week or so, 2 weeks or so now, with just the news that it was probably going to be soon, and he moved on this week on Monday. So we are. I am smoking this Pappy Van Winkle cigar, again, the Family Reserve, in honor of Mark and his legacy and his memory and his footprint, his fingerprint, his every print that has to do with the Perique process for this cigar and Barn Smoker events. If you've had the pleasure of going to the Barn Smoker event since the DE25 re-overhaul of Barn Smokers in 2022, if you've been in 2022, 2023, or last year, 2024, you had the opportunity to see Mark doing his thing at the Pappy Van Winkle booth. And so, Mark, this one's for you, brother. We love you and your family. So, Bob Cigar, what are you smoking this evening?
I am pre-gaming an Espinosa knuckle sandwich, the Strike Force team up with Cigar Dojo, but I think I'm going to finish up with a Wagashi. So that's going to be my second stick of the night. So, and yeah, we are very sad that Mark has moved on. If you've ever met him, he was your friend from the first step because he doesn't know a stranger. He is very generous. He's very kind. He's willing to share lots of knowledge and information and stories. He's lived the lives of 4 or 5 people. And not only that, sometimes when you got a guy who's lived a life so full, you can't get a word in edgewise. And I've seen Mark just sit there and listen to other people and just cheer them on as they went through. So he's a very special and awesome person. He's a good friend of the family and a friend of the channel. So he will be definitely missed. That's for sure.
Yeah, that was always one of the great part. I mean, we've said, and I think we've publicly said, but if I've never publicly said it before, my favorite part of Barn Smoker is hanging out with my friends and my family, whether it be at the event itself with you all who have come to Barn Smokers and those events, or if it's afterwards when all of the doors are shut and we're back at the hotel kicking it with the Drew Estate guys and gals. And Mark was always there. Mark, he passed away at 69. So he's been in his upper 60s with all the most recent Barn Smokers. And one of the things that we get to do with a bunch of the Drew Estate employees and people who work the Barn Smoker is we get to stay up at the hotel super late smoking cigars. And there was never a night that I can remember where Mark was going in the house before me. Mark loved just being with people.
That's right.
Guy.
You're right.
And he would sit out there and he would smoke and he would smoke and he would laugh and he would drink and he would eat. It was just a really good time. So it was
a great time.
He will be missed at the Barn Smoker events this year.
I see Michael Laneza is in the chat.
Is Big Michael Laneza in the chat?
I'm so glad that you're in here, Michael. I want to tell you, I was going to message you, but since you're here, it makes it much easier. The information you told me about the Dominicana at PCA, about the transition between the jump between, I have had no less than, I've been on 2 podcasts since then, and both times it came up and I almost spoke what you said verbatim, word for word. It makes so much sense. I've had a lot of other people come up to me at work and message me and talk to me, and I've told them the same thing in the review that I did that will come out after all the PCA content. I did the same thing. I mean, you nailed it perfectly. Not that I would expect you to do anything but nail things perfectly. That story that you gave me about how that cigar has a sweetened cap, but it's a transitional cigar from the non-traditional to the infused to the leather rose, and then going into a regular traditional cigar without any infusion. And how it makes so much sense, because people would say, well, it's not a deadwood line because it doesn't have tobacco on it, or it doesn't have pipe tobacco, and I said, "Here's the reason why." And my friend, you made me so much smarter. It's not hard to make me smarter, but you did. You made me so much smarter.
You jumped in and hit the tagline before I could do it. Oh, we've hit 20.
But you did.
Weeks in a row.
I'm amazed at your knowledge and your ability to take complex conversations and turn them into a bite-sized situation where people can just receive it and understand it. And I know there have been a couple people that actually have told me that they told their friends about it because they asked the same question. So, buddy, you got your thumb right on the pulse of all these questions people have. You're awesome. You're just phenomenal, awesome. And I made the photo shoot from Michael Lineza at PCA. If you get with Michael Lineza and you get to get in his camera reels, boy, you know you've done something and been somewhere. That's for sure.
People at PCA is his picture, his pick dumps, his collages that he puts together when he goes on trips or when he goes and does things. I live for him.
Me too.
Speaking of pictures and moving into full-on amount of the show, we have week 2 of Stick Pick of the Week. This week, Stick Pick of the Week comes to you courtesy of Charles Adamson with that beautiful poolside week number 2. So that's not the criteria. You don't have to have a pool in order to get your photo featured for the Stick Pick of the Week. But over on Discord, I did tell everybody last week on Chief Talk that because we were starting it for the first time last week, and this was going to be the second week going into it. I did allow people to go ahead and post pictures that they've had saved in their phones for however long they've wanted to over on the Chief Talk Discord, and there were a ton of photos flooded over there. But I will say, the composure of this photo with the acid Cuba, I do believe it's a Cuba, in an acid ashtray with the nice little flowers that he plucked probably from his wife's garden with whatever's in the drink. I can't tell. Maybe it's water. Maybe it's Everclear. Maybe it's
moonshine.
Yeah, maybe it's moonshine. Charles Adamson is somebody who does enjoy the libations and the high quality ones. It does not look like Ardbeg, which is a little disappointing for Charles Adamson and his sake. But Charles Adamson wins week 2 Stick Pick of the Week, Chief Stogie Picture of the Week over on Discord. If you want to be able to get in on this competition where I choose a photo that I like of the week, all you have to do is post a picture of your cigar on Discord to be considered for next week's pick.
So, Gary Brooks, you're now only 50% chance of winning the big Chief Stick Pick giveaway at the end of the year. Your odds have cut in half. Charles, yours have doubled.
So at the end of the year, we did decide last week, as we went ahead and made this a new thing, we went ahead and decided that at the end of the year, we would compile all of the photos and we would choose which one we liked the most. Now, I don't know if maybe at the end of the year we do something. Maybe we do it
bracket challenge,
a bracket style. You know, Chief Talk has been notorious here recently in the last year or so with doing these bracket challenges. Not that I created them, or the only one who does them. I kind of lean on them every once in a while. So maybe we do the bracket at the end of the year, and whoever wins Stick Pick of the Year is going to go home with a nice little package of
something
cigars. Sorry, I got choked up there for a second.
It's going to be okay, Chief.
Well,
we're not going to let the first lady pick it. I was trying to
formulate a thought here, and it was send you a package of cigars and swag that maybe you could feature in 2026's Stick Pick of the Week. So you don't get any extra credit for that. But there were some people who were putting up some photos with their Chief or Bob the Cigar Guy gear. So
you mean like a year of the Chief Cutter?
Yo.
Look at that.
Gary Brooks says, my current photos are going to be boring now that I have a hot tub. Look, again, it doesn't have to be like the most beautiful, like a professionally done photo over on the Discord. It's just, what kind of, works and what looks good. Obviously, the more effort you put into your photo for Stick Pick of the Week, Charles Adamson did a great job this week with his composition with the the blue pool, the blue cigar, the blue ashtray, the it all works. The white on the cup, the white on the flowers, and it just works. So congratulations, Charles Adamson. You are week 2's winner. Stick pick of the week. Is it Malort? God, I don't think so. Michael Z says, hey, family, a bit late on vacation in Foley, Alabama. Foley, Alabama. Cigar Pop says, I guess I need to step up my photo game. No, Cigar Pop, you had some really good photos this week as well. I really liked Charles Adamson's photo. I think it worked really well. Again, you had the acid cigar and the acid ashtray up on the pool. Cigar Pop, you had some really good photos this week too. So keep posting. Obviously, the more you post throughout the week, I get to see more of your photos. It's reminded me, hey, you know what? I was actually kind of worried that I was going to get to week 2 and be like, oh crap, I didn't make a graphic. But yeah, boy, Chief is on it. Jay Bates says, the new sponsor of the Catholic Church, all of Chicago. Charles has increased infinitely. Michael Zakvik says, Lambert's is tomorrow. What does that mean?
Not sure.
Let's see. Bob's Placencia lighter. Mike Lane says, ooh, nice cutter. Charles Adamson, who won the stick pick of the week, says, I can't stay. My granddaughter has another concert this evening. Well, congratulations for winning stick pick of the week. But also have a good time with the concert. I hope you get to enjoy that time. And maybe there's a smoking section at the back and you can kick up, relax, and get it. He said he just got here to see it. Gary Brooks says, I need Liz to start entering. Yeah, and you don't have to put her on the Discord. Just say, hey, this is Liz's photo. And if you tell me it's Liz's photo, she'll get the credit for the photo and she gets entered in for Chief's stick pick of the week. The plumeria were blooming and it just came together. Oh, so the plumeria is what that flower is. Dan Burns says, I'll see if I can get my friendly Bigfoot to be in one of my picks. Now that would be cool. It's the roll throwing.
Oh, yeah, I forgot the name of the place. The name, I was like, I know that name somewhere. Did you hear that story? We went to a restaurant where they sling rolls at you from across the room.
I mean, I've seen videos of people like going to restaurants with that. I didn't know it was just one. Is it just one restaurant, or is it like
I think there's a couple, but the one we went to is the original, evidently. But literally, you put paper towels on the table, and they come out and scoop fried okra on the table. And then when you get your regular food, they come around
really
and they give you lima beans and ham hocks. They give you rice. They give you whatever food. They just walk around these big old buckets asking you if you want some of this food.
So it's like redneck Brazilian steakhouse.
Kinda, but you have to order your food as well. But so you order your main entree, but the rest of it just comes with all sorts of stuff. It's a hoot and a half.
Nice, cool. What happens if you don't catch the roll? Do they like make fun of you and shame you for?
I don't know. Your mom wouldn't catch one.
Casey Hayner says, "How is your cigar so far?" This cigar is doing fantastic. This is the Pappy Van Winkle Family Reserve Barrel Fermented cigar from Drew Estate, Pappy Van Winkle. Fantastic cigar. Bob Cigar, how is your cigar treating you?
It's a good cigar, but it's a little spicier than I expected for some reason. I know the cigar, and for whatever reason, I just pulled a blank, and I'm thinking of getting something more mellow, so that's why I grabbed the Wagashi as my second
Jay
choice.
Those are not rolls; those are biscuits. Rolls and biscuits, two different things. Stokey Sisters enjoying a Cuba Arte with high quality H2O. I did ask it earlier, but not many people have answered since, or maybe I just missed it. What are you smoking? What are you drinking this evening? I do want to know. And especially if you light up multiple cigars during the show. This Pappy is smoking a lot faster than what I normally smoke. I will say, so tonight the camera quality has changed for those who have noticed it. Because
for one of us.
For one of us. So I'm actually using my Sony A7 IV that I use to shoot all the PCA videos, all my photos with. And it's so much nicer to just be able to have a camera with a lens that outperformed. Now,
Jay Bass, did you notice that I'm still using this old busted webcam?
oh, here we go.
You know, I mean, first class
Here he
flights,
goes.
expensive gear, all this other stuff. I mean, we're in the same room, right? It's just as dark on his side as it is. It's actually
No.
darker on his side than is mine, and he looks like sunshine, right? So
Sunshine and lollipop. Would you like me to darken it? I can close my aperture down.
I've got a light stick here that I can turn
There we
a
go.
little bit, but you
There,
know, I mean,
we'll be a little.
I don't have all that technological stuff. You
Again,
know,
I
it's
can.
just,
You know, we could do real Chief Cam this week. I need to do this for sure in 2 weeks when I go to the barber, because you can see a little nose hair right there. So
we could do another nose waxing video.
No, we cannot. No, we cannot at all. This is the lens that was bought for PCA. So, let's see. So, Retired Rookie Cigar says they had to quit throwing rolls for a short time when somebody sued them over an injury from a roll. How do you get injured by a roll? Like, well, I guess if you overcook your roll, you could have a break.
Them rolls are soft as
Charles
golden corral.
Adamson, thanks for hanging out with us this evening. Did my part for the count. I may watch at the end if you're still on. We'll watch the replay for sure. Official first pick of the week just went up. Ooh. Casey Henry says they have never tried a cigar before. Hey, if you're of legal smoking age, go find one. Tell us what you think about it. Report back next week. That's your homework, Casey. Jimmy says, I thought it was the channels. No, it's yours. The camera's mine. The lens is the channels. Matt Birch says, sorry, guys. Helping Paul get ready for exams. Sending all my love. Paul, Sam, and anybody who has kids or grandkids who are preparing for their finals, their exams, and whatnot to finish out this month for school. Good luck to the kids. Good luck to the parents helping and all of that. Good golly goodness.
And the teachers.
Now, Spearmint Tobacco says, why isn't Bob using the other Sony? Because Bob refuses to pull that Sony out.
Chief says, I'm going to teach you how to use that camera, and that was a year ago.
Spearmint Tobacco says, hook you pops up. Well, I mean, we could have. Now, we would have to have made a spot for him to have the camera, because right now he just balances his webcam on. Right now, it is on an Aperture MC90 light.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And I look better in the dark and out of focus. I truly believe that. That's my look.
Whoop, just dropped my ash there. Jamie says it's like he thinks he's the firstborn favorite or something. Stogie Sister with the close-up. Cheap might have more light, but he doesn't look like sunshine. Bob the Cigar Guy has his own aura. Listening to his kids.
I love you, Mackie Berkson.
Hold on now. I got to make sure I read Sammy Flo's comments this week. Last week, I accidentally missed a comment. And then he messaged me crying about, did I hate him because I didn't read his comment? And that's not the case. I just missed your comment. But I wanted to make sure, Sammy Flo, the Barber and Cigar Company, that I get your comments this evening. So hopefully I don't miss them anymore. Rick Carroll's got a Dr. Pepper on deck. Just finished a Wise Man and lit up an M81. Gary Brooks just lit my last Solito Red tonight. Oh,
that box didn't get cold.
That Summer Osaka is coming hard and
that
fast.
Box didn't get cold.
Casey wants to know, how long have you been smoking cigars? Currently, this cigar I've been smoking for about 25 minutes.
He took my joke.
But over time, I have been smoking cigars for just over 10 years now. About 11 years I've been smoking cigars. But seriously and doing content, it's about
9,
7 or 8. So, Matt Scaife, Uncle Matty Scaife, coming in the chat this evening. How are you doing? Nice change on the profile picture, by the way. Papa Saka in Woodford Reserve with an Ummagog on standby, but considering a Pappy Family Reserve to honor Mark instead. We here in the studio are honoring Mark. Well, I am with the Pappy Van Winkle. Jay Bates says, no smoke tonight. I do, however, have a 6 milli mango rogue and a peppermint on deck. Okay, so
Damn.
you got one. He's got the mango rogue in and the peppermint on deck. Sammy Flo says, several comments and questions. No, I went back through. You only had one question that qualified as a question that was missed. Retired Rookie Cigar says, you missed one of mine, but I don't think you hate me.
He said his wife asked him, or said, so you're sitting on your front porch smoking cigars, watching on your phone people smoking cigars. And he said, yep.
Tell her to come out and hang out with us. We're having a good time. Light her up a cigar. And if she doesn't want a cigar, pour her a drink, something. Hang out. It's a good time. It's a good family time to be out here. Sean Crowley, welcome into the show. Smoking a Mi Querida Blue and drinking a Teeling small batch. Man, Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust is hanging heavy in
Strong.
the lounge this evening. Now, hopefully, all these pictures are going up all over on the Chief Talk Discord to be considered for next week's Stick Pick of the Week. Jay Bates says, Manscaped, that sounds like delicioso. This is why Bob is top of my list. And, well, you have to work your way up. It's all right. Look, I care about your emotional health, Sammy. Casey says, my beard's very nice. Thank you.
It is Mental Health Month.
Making poor decisions, my guy. What is going on? He called us foys, but I assume that's just guys. Maybe
He's chilling at the sports bar smoking cigars.
He drank a little too much. Hey, face. Mike Lynn says, "Go Sammy Flo, go Sammy, go Sammy Flo, go Sammy, go Sammy, go."
He's trying to get back in. Graces.
That song. I'm working on being a cross between Bob for smoking speed and Saka for quantity. He did. He smoked that big old 10x100 lunatic last week, and I think he cleared it in like an hour and 5 minutes. No, I don't think it was that fast. He fixed it. What's up, guys? What's up? I like Smirnoff Ice Blueberry Raspberry Lemonade. Nice. That might pair well with this cigar that won Stick Pick of the Week, the Cuba. Again, if you are over on the Discord, we are doing Stick Picks every single week, and Charles Adamson won this week. Come back over here to the comments. Let's see. Shogi Sisters just chilling with cigar and the fam here, and that is what I like to hear.
Good living.
After I sell my truck later tonight, I'll light up a tobacco and drink some apple pie shine.
That'll work.
Chi-Town, what's up? Smoking a La Carem Bellicosos Finos 2022 tonight. Oh, my man. He's celebrating the whole town of Chicago for the new Pope pick. J. Bates says, we are simple creatures. Some just can't comprehend it. I'm surprised you could get the whole word comprehend out. Did you use autocorrect on that? Did you use autocorrect?
Wow. Can you not be nice to Sammy Flo and Jay Bates at the same time?
Jay Bates, Sammy Flo said, hey.
Can you not be nice to Sammy and Jay at the same time? Can you do that?
Gary Brooks says, Google Maps car is in the area. If I catch it coming, I'm going to light up a Woody and stand in the front yard. Megan Porter says, I'm smoking a natural Mustang and drinking a Coors Banquet in a sports bar in Fayetteville. Oh, the home of Will McFall. Mike Morton, gentlemen, two of my favorite other Carolinians. My guy, welcome to the show. What are you smoking? What are you drinking? I want to know. Gary Brooks says it was 4 hours. It was not an hour and 9 minutes. Let's see. What kind of beer do you like? I'm not a big beer guy. I don't drink a lot of alcohol as it is. But you know, I do like me some Yangling. I like me a little Yangling. I try to avoid any beer that Jim Bates gives me. It usually kills me. The Cigar Collective. What is going on? How are you doing this evening? What are you smoking? What are you drinking? Let me know. Carl Patterson, my man. I'm at work, but I start vacation at 11 o'clock. The smokes and drinks will be plentiful. Well, when you kick back, you knock the dust off your feet, get all clean and ready to smoke, think about me, Senor Carlton Patterson. Matt Berger says, Bob taught me into a strike force.
Can't go wrong.
Sammy Flo says, summer is coming soon. What cigar events, lounges, events do you two have planned, if any?
There may be a place, I don't know if Chief's going to go or
Hey, 31 people!
in June, June 21st, I think it is.
5 weeks in a row, baby.
It's about 2 hours away from us, and it is the Cigar Raj podcast meet and greet. That's on the 21st, I think.
So now that is 5, 10, 15 weeks out of 19 shows, right? 5,
That's
10,
pretty good.
12, 14. No, 14. Sorry. 14 weeks. I forgot that I had a 40 counter over here. I counted the 40 as 30, but it was also a 30. So we are still holding the line at only 5 shows so far this year. We have not crossed the 30 number threshold. So we are killing it. Jay Bates is rolling over there. Joe Machado says, greetings from Central Florida. Ooh, it was hot here today. I bet it was hot down there. How's your weather treating you? Mike Morton ordered this Viva La Vida Connecticut, waiting on the mailman. Thoughts? I smoked one today. And I also, so my boy Supremo Tobacco was smoking one, and he said that he thinks it might need a little bit more age. And I think it needs a little mellow time myself. Now, Bob the Cigar Guy, you smoked one at PCA with Billy and Gus. Now, that video has not dropped yet.
Right.
But what are your initial thoughts on the cigar?
It's a shade plus. It's got a little bit of aggression to it. It's not a real light Connecticut. It's an in between. It's not as heavy as a darker wrap stick, but it is more than you would expect if you just don't smoke cigars regularly and you picked up that cigar in the shop because it's a light wrapper. It's going to be a little bit more for you. So if you're a regular cigar smoker, a veteran cigar smoker, and you want something a little lighter, that's perfect for you. If you've been smoking a little bit and you want to step into the game, that works really well as well. So not too shabby.
No, it's a good cigar.
I think AJ Fernandez makes that as well, doesn't he?
I think AJ makes all of their stuff,
I believe so.
If I'm
so
correct. Now, the guy to talk about that would be the Senor Supremo Tobacco, who I did quote earlier, saying that he smoked one. I think he smoked his last night, and he said that it needed just a little bit more age. I agree with him. I think it needs to mellow out just a hair. It definitely. I don't know if I'd call. I guess Shade Plus works. It was just a little gritty for me. So it wasn't as refined as. I'm not a big shade guy I cast shade, but when it comes to shade, Connecticut shade wrap reliefs, there's not a whole lot of them I do like. Off the top of my head, the Numero Uno from Hoyta, Nicaragua, fantastic cigar. I love, and they don't make it anymore, but the Underground Shade Suprema, love that cigar. Now, that is also somewhat of a shade plus as well. But when it comes to the shade cigars, I'm not the biggest of fans.
What do you think of the Brulee Blue, or the Wagashi?
I'm not a fan of the Wagashi. You know that other people have heard me talk about the Wagashi. It's not that it's a bad cigar. It's just not my kind of cigar. Love the Brulee. Love the Brulee Blue. I also love the new Dominicana as well. But I think one of the things about the Brulee and the La Dominicana is La Dominicana actually does have the sweetened tip on it. Brulee, Steve says there's not a sweetened tip, even if the sugar comes through the tobacco or whatnot. I'm still not convinced 100%. I do trust Steve Stockham, so I will say I am convinced in that regard. But not a fan of the Wagashi at all. Michael Hayes says Billy and Gus are great guys. There is
hilarious.
There is nobody in the industry aside from maybe Law Ream who matches Bob the Cigar Guy's energy at PCA than Billy and Gus. Those guys are killing it. They are,
and they're on all the time.
They
are just wide open and wired. So
Peter Janis says, hello, Chief and Chief Dad. Bob the Cigar Guy. Welcome in, Peter G. AJ is indeed their guy. J8 says, Gary Brooks, when is that? Next year? A couple years from now? Yeah, I think it's early next year for the event. Sammy Flo says, can't wait to try that new Connecticut. Which one? The Viva La Vida or the Dominicana? No, it has to be the Viva La Vida because I know you've had the Dominicana because we talked about it. Matt Berger says, I'm not a sweetened kind or cigar kind of guy. For the most part, I'm not either. But I think there is a time and a place for it. And sometimes I get a hankering for something that's infused or sweet capped, and I'm on it. One of the things I do like about, let me say this. My favorite offering of the La Dominicana from Drew Estate so far is, I believe, a Toro. I think it's a Toro. I don't know off the top of my head if it's a Toro. I think it's a Toro. It's the cigar that they had in the little cardboard box at PCA, Mike Laneza. Is it a Toro? I think it's a Toro. I smoked the Gordo from the Freestyle Live Pack, and I thought the sweetness was too much on that cigar. I thought it was too much. You want to hand me the box? So this is the. Let me take the comment off the screen. I'll even go full on selfie mode here. Get it in front of my face because it's eye tracking me. So this is the Deadwood Girl with a Dominican heart. This is the La Dominicana that was debuted at PCA this year at the Drew Estate booth. So tilting and twisting my hand over here. Beautiful cigar. Love the. Now this is not something that you'll find in humidors. This is a trade show sample only. But I've smoked a few of these now, and this is by far my favorite by Tola. And he is saying, yes, indeed, it is a Toro. Matt Berger says, I had the Corona size from the Freestyle Pack. Wasn't a fan. Let me come back up here. Joe Machado, smoking a Ramon Iones Habano sent my way by a California friend, paired with an 818 Añejo tequila. Ooh. Not a great pairing. The hooch is overpowering the cigar unless I back off the sip. Well, if it's a Ramon Iones Cubano, I could see that being a very light smoke. I actually smoked a little Cuban here before the show started earlier. Smoked a little Macanudo, little cigarette-looking thing. It was kind of fun. Smoked it. So I could see if you've got something that's a little stronger in the palate of the drink, it could definitely take over the taste of the cigar. Gary Brooks says, I'm okay with Wagashi, but Brule Blue is my jam. Oh, yeah. Brule Blue, absolutely. Love it. I love the numero uno as my number one favorite Connecticut, but the Brule Blue is definitely number two for me. Sammy Flo, I'm reading your comment, said, had a La Dominicana for the first time on Monday. Enjoyed it. Nice. Oh, Liz just made her first entry. Heck yeah. I had the Corona side. I already read that one. Gary Brooks says, I'll try one of those La Dominicana, but not a fan of the name. Doesn't fit with the other ladies, even if it's a transitional cigar. I mean, I'm not somebody who get caught up on name so much. I'm somebody who gets, if other than cigar, I get caught up on band work, and I think it fits really well in that jam. Peter Janis is smoking an Amazon basin from the 2025 culling of the Braganca tobacco from the Brazilian rainforest. Like that callback there. Michael John, good evening. Arriving late to the party. Hey, there's no deadline to be here. Just be here when we here, baby. And you made it. Stogie Sister says it is hard to beat the blue. Indeed. No, the blue is a fantastic cigar, but the numero uno for me.
I've got a question, Chief.
What is your question, Bob Cigar?
You've been dutifully doing tons and tons of editing to get out all the PCA content. And during all that time, you've been working through this year, intentionally smoking lots of cigars you'd never smoked before. So at the end of the year, you're like, I've only got 20 days left and I've got 76 cigars I need to get through so I can get on my list. But Saturday, You didn't smoke any cigars Saturday. What were you doing last Saturday that you couldn't smoke any cigars, Chief?
Okay, first off, let's go ahead and put it out there in the waves that Chief did smoke a cigar on Saturday. Chief smoked a Red Meat Lovers Fratanga Saturday. So, Chief smoked a cigar on Saturday. Now, I did not smoke a brand new to me cigar on Saturday. I ended up actually getting it to smoke. I pulled it out for Saturday. Ended up not smoking it, and then I smoked it on Sunday. And I'm glad that I did choose the Red Meat Lovers Club for Tonga for Saturday, because Saturday morning, my oldest son and I, he's 8. He's been in a run club for the past 4 months, and at the culmination, the celebration of their run club, they have a race. And so Jackson needed a partner. He had to have somebody to run in the race with him. And of course, Daddy said, well, I'm not going to let anybody else race with my son on his first ever race. There were people who volunteered, people who are well in shape and run and bike and do all sorts of stuff all the time. But my man pride got in the way. My dad pride got in the way. And that's something I'm sure that you can understand, Bob the Cigar Guy.
Absolutely.
But I was saying my dad pride got in the way. And I said, no, if anybody runs with my son for his first ever race, it is going to be me. It's going to be Steven Jackson's dad. And so I raced a 5K early Saturday morning and lived to tell the tale of racing a 5K race with my son. That's right. Look at that.
Now, how come it comes in so clear on that picture, but I'm grainy? What the heck? Chief, what wizardry are you doing?
That didn't have anything to do with me, man. But yeah, I did that. But I did on the way back home. Actually, I thought that's one of the things that you were gonna make fun of me about, was that on the way back. So for the race, obviously my wife, my other 2 children. So I had my son with me. My wife had my daughter and my youngest son with her. They were there to cheer us on. My mom, my dad, Bob the Cigar Guy, were both there. My niece and my nephew were there with my parents. And then my mother-in-law, my father-in-law were also there to cheer us on. And my mother-in-law and father-in-law left early to go to a family reunion. And so we were talking about eating breakfast after the race. And my wife has a car, and that's the thing. It's like, I thought about it. Caden could have ridden with Shanna. Like, all the stuff that she would have had to move out of her car could have been put in my truck. Caden wanted to ride with me to the restaurant to go get breakfast, but I knew I wanted to smoke a cigar, and he asked, and I was like, no, buddy, you can't ride with me because I'm smoking a cigar. But then my mom, of all people, was like, just roll the windows down. He can ride on there with you.
She did too.
So then to my dad, Bob the Cigar Guy over there, started, oh, Caden, he doesn't love you as much as he loves a cigar. And he doesn't love you enough to let you ride in the truck with him. Blah, 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 blah. Jerry says, why is Chief talking in third person? Because it's Chief Talk. Chief Talk's going to talk about everything and all that stuff. Dug through my humidors and found out I had 5 boxes of blues. Ooh-wee. Cigar Pop says it's the lighting. That's part of it. It also has to do with the fact that I am using a $3,000 camera as a Wi-Fi camera right now. Stuggy's sister says, where's the wolf whistle sound? I'm the big behemoth bubbling down the hill in red shorts. There goes Jackson. There you go. There's a bunch of trees. And here comes the money shot. Oh!
No, it didn't. Hang on. I'll back it up.
Now, anybody who's worth their weight in salt in the cigar or the Chief Talk family knows that I have been in the gym, consistently now for over a year, and I've been working on my fitness. But it ain't the running. Yeah, boom, boom, boom. I'm surprised the camera's not shaking. I think that little kid, was looking back I was like, oh God, what is coming? What is coming for me? It's a big man. It's a big scary man. Gary Brooks says Chief did great hauling those guns through a 5K. My best time is 22 minutes and 42 years old. So beat my PB, Chief. I am not gonna. I'm not training for a 5K ever again. Well, actually, that's a lie. I did tell Jackson that if he wanted to continue running and doing some racing stuff, not with his run club, that we could look into doing some more races. I'll just have to start training a little bit for that instead of training to pick things up. And
Now, you were a cross-country runner.
I was.
In high school.
Middle school and high school. My freshman year, all of middle school, my freshman year of high school, I ran cross country. And then we moved, and I needed to make friends, and so I started playing football again, and then my body changed and became the big meat nugget it is today. Ron, welcome in from the other side of the world. Me too. It was so much fun, but I had to carry mine for a little bit since he's just under 6. Now Jackson, he could have finished the race much faster than I did, but he did not want to leave his old dad to die. I think he was scared because Shanna kept making jokes about, don't let your dad die out there. Don't let your dad die out there. I think there was a part of it that was actually fearing that if he left, I may just die in the middle of nowhere.
You'd swim across the lake and just meet him at the end. There was a bridge that there were some dads that were looking at that bridge like, I can go through that tape because they had a little guardian tape on there.
It was really like I had never been out to the campus
because that hill afterwards was a mess.
Yeah, I'd never been out there to Furman's campus to see where the race was. And so I didn't know where the course took you, and so you end up starting off around a lake, and then you go into the campus, and you go up to where I actually throw for the Highland Games out. That was kind of fun to be out there. And then you end up going back around, you come around, then you go to the other side of the lake, and then you run along the side of the lake, and you can see the finish line. You can see the people, you can see the finishers, you can hear the music, you can see everybody cheering and all that stuff. And you can see that there's the bend that goes into that area. And it's like, oh, Jackson, look, man, let's just book it because there's the end of the race. There's a bridge that crosses right there, but then there's also another 0.4 miles of a loop that you've got to go. And half of it is up a sheer cliff. Now, Luckily, you come down the cliff on the other side. That's where Bob got that video from. I was actually running because I was running downhill, baby. But
gravity took over a couple people going down that hill. That hill is not as easy as
look.
They're coming down that hill faster than they wanted to.
Jackson and I looked at our time and our placement, and we placed within the top 40% of finishers. We were up there, so not near the finish, but we were over halfway, and that was kind of a personal goal.
It was hilarious when everybody took off. You see all these people running. The kids just scrambled, and the dads and the moms were behind them. But there were some kids, some guys that were wearing like marathon gear. They had all the expensive, super tight, funky things, and they came in so far in the end. They spent money at Dick's or whatever sporting goods store they did, but they did not spend money in that gym because they was tired. But there was this one guy, looks like he just got off a shift at the factory. He had on regular old skater shoes like sneakers and a pair of jeans and a button-down shirt, and he was running. I was like, all right, he's legit.
And that's another thing is like it was really encouraging to see people out there, parents or friends or whatever that were running with kids. It was like, in order to run, you had to have a chaperone. Now, you could have multiple kids to a chaperone. There were a couple parents out there or people who were with the kids who had multiple kids they were running with. But it was nice to see a bunch of just dads or uncles or whoever that looked a lot like me, who don't look like they're out there supposed to run 5 kilometers, 3.1 miles. You know what? They showed up for the kids. And that was really encouraging to me. And that was one, again, the dad pride was a big factor of why I got out there and did what I did. But it was really encouraging to see a bunch of adults stepping up for.
I was proud of y'all.
Should have smoked a cigar while running for intimidation purposes and let the other dads know what's up. I mean, the guns did that on their own, but also the Perkins Power shirt was very popular with the dads. Who was faster, Jackson or Dad? Jackson was faster. Now, also, there comes a point, in your life as a dad where you don't crush their spirits. If I would have tried to race Jackson to the very end and try to beat him after doing all of that, it probably would not have done a really good thing for his 8-year-old soul.
That's why I don't go to the gym in front of Steven.
Yeah, sure. I'm thankful, Dad. I'm thankful that you don't crush my spirits with that. But no, Jackson, he took off and he kept going. When we started the run at the downhill part, my whole goal was to just make it to the finish line without stopping. Chattown says marathon is next. Absolutely not. Oh yeah, here comes the.
This is the start.
Look at me looking like a runner. I'm checking my watch. There's Bob. The old paparazzi.
Couldn't use an expensive camera. I had to use my phone.
What's up, guys? What's up, chat? How you doing? Yes, no, it was definitely a don't let your dad die kind of sort of thing. Marathons are killer. I used to make fun of those people until my best friend's wife talked me into one. Look, I am not built for long distance running. I am built for, look, if I'm running, you better run because something bigger is behind me.
And it's bad.
Trained in winter in Michigan and had an ice beard. No way. I trained by smoking cigars in Sub-Zero.
That works.
That'll be. I like to pick things up and put them down, and I'll just do my cigar that way. Jay Bates is on the same. Now maybe we should do like a cigar 5K. You know, Bob Cigar. Maybe you should start training to do a 5K, and Bert Kreischer, the comedian, and Jelly Roll just did a 5K. If they could do it, you could do it.
I could do a lot of things, but whether I will or not, it's a whole different situation.
Gary Brooks says that they have some local marathons who run in cosplay. The only cosplay I would do if I was running a marathon would be like a stormtrooper. Because that would look cool.
The chafe on that run would be
I think I'd
awful.
get tired of the plastic. Plus, there's not very good vision out of those things. I would need like a Tony Stark heads-up display in there to show me my peripheral. Joe Machado says, I'll run a marathon if you give me 2 days. Those people are rock stars. 2 days? Oh, 2 days to run the marathon. Oh, I thought you were talking about 2 days of training. Like, dog, I'm like 2 years out. Sammy Flo, reading your comment here. Can't believe Bob couldn't borrow the camera of the channel, but here we go again.
Y'all watch this. Hey, Steven, can I use the camera?
We have an A7 II.
Can I use that camera that you have sitting in front of you right now?
No. This is not a channel camera. This is a camera that I bought myself. Now, the lens on it, just go hold the lens up. You put the lens right up to your phone.
Now, I have been planning on doing a marathon-esqueness. I just haven't figured out when the time would be to do and how to raise money for Cigars for Warriors. But the March of Dimes, when you're a kid, you go around in the neighborhood and you'd have them say, for every mile I run, every lap around the track I run, you give me a dime. And you run as much as you can, and then you go collect that money and you give it to them. Well, I was thinking that I would smoke 24 cigars in 24 hours live, and I would get donations from people for every cigar I smoked, and then I'd be able to collect that, and we'd be able to give it to Cigars for Warriors or Warriors or some other channel, charity organization. But I haven't figured out when. And Chief, you're more than welcome to join me in that run.
Stogie's sister says that she's up for some contact sports. She's on my team. I call her. Cigar Pop says I would look like Forrest Gump in braces. No, the funny thing is I have my Apple Watch, right? I'm not a runner, so don't judge me. If you're a runner and you use your Garmin special watches, whatever. I have an Apple Watch for convenience. But I wanted to make sure I definitely had my Apple Watch on for the race because I wanted to use the run feature on here so that I could track how far I had run so I knew how much farther I had to go.
Smart.
And so I was running. I was doing my thing. I'm in the gym every week, multiple days a week. I do the treadmill. I do my cardio before each workout. Get the blood pumping, get the heart going, all that good stuff. But I don't train on the treadmill. I don't train running and all that kind of stuff to do distance sports. But I'm
Fit.
I'm fit. I'm fitter,
Fit.
and so um, I was like, man, I'm feeling good. This first mile, I'm kicking butt. And this doesn't feel bad at all. I think I'm going to be able to blaze through this thing, keeping up with Jackson, no problem. Blah 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 blah. I looked down at my watch. I'm at 0.42 miles, and oh god, I got a cramp. It was like my whole. I never should have looked down at my watch.
I 1/6 of the way through.
It was like the most defeating thing that you could have imagined was, oh, I actually haven't been as far as my body thinks it's been. I've only been less than half a mile. And so at that point, the Charlie horses were out. The stitches in the side were coming. I was cotton mouthed and dying.
You look good doing it, though.
Thanks, man.
You did. I was proud of you.
Run. It did think,
y'all represented well.
I thought it was, a nice, thing. Furman, they had a thing where they posted up that the Kentucky Derby was going on Furman's campus because they had a Clydesdale running around the campus. I was a Clydesdale, if you didn't get the joke. Cigar Pop says, gotta go. Michael Carter, good to see you guys. Take care and good night. Sammy Flo says, will the first lady be on this weekend? No, it's not the second Saturday.
It is the second Saturday.
No, it's not.
It is the second Saturday.
You guys are going to go to the funeral.
But we're going to go pay our respects to Mark Ryan and his family at the funeral. And so we won't be on this Saturday. We will be on next Saturday. We're going to get in schedule, but it just PCA and then this unexpected tragedy happened. And so we feel it's more important to go pay our respects, and then I'll make sure I give extra stuff away on the second Saturday, which will be the third Saturday this month.
Look, Gary Brooks, I'm all for the information. I'm sure you could whip me into shape and train me to run an ultra marathon or something like that. But I have no desire to run. I have a desire to be strong and throw super heavy things, which I will be doing in a few weekends with the Highland Games. But that's what I train for. I train to be strong. I train to beat up the boyfriends that my daughter wants to bring over to the house. I train to keep up with Jackson and all of his friends when they want to come over and wrestle and be stupid. Matt Berger says, my Apple Watch would ask if I was okay or should I call the medics. It was funny. My Apple Watch kept giving me encouraging, oh, wow, you're doing so great. Oh, wow, you've killed your daily goal for movement time. Oh, wow, you've already surpassed your calories burned for the day. Congratulations. Keep going. It's like, I'm just trying to live here.
Then it says your heart rate is 172 beats per minute.
No, it only got up to 152. So not bad for a big man running. Not bad at all. All right. So before we go any farther, I do want to say a big congratulations again to Charles Adamson for this week's Stick Pick of the Week. Chief, still the picture of the week. Post a picture of your cigar on Discord to be considered for next week's pick. That's right, Charles Adamson coming in hot with this week's Stick Pick of the Week. That nice little Cuba cigar in the Cuba ashtray with the flowers. I have already forgotten the name.
That's an OG ashtray, too.
It is. That's a cool one, too, how the cigars are slanted. Now, I guess you could probably burn the fool out of that thing. I mean, he doesn't have much
in the front, right?
Room unless he hangs it off the outside of the edge. Then you're kind of defeating the purpose of the ashtray.
Now you better ash it quick.
Make sure you're posting your sticks over on Discord to be considered for next week's Stick Pick of the Week. And I am keeping a collection of all of the Stick Picks of the weeks in the file on my computer. And at the end of the year, we will choose the best one out of a knockout style bracket at the end of the year. And there will be a nice, handsome, or beautiful, depending on how you want to gender your cigars, prize at the end of the year. So with that, I want to bring up something we talked about last week, or a topic we talked about last week. We have now gone another full week since last Thursday. Congratulations, we have made it. Which means that there have been a whole bunch of videos that have popped up from PCA since last Thursday. Now, there was not a PCA video that was debuted on Saturday last week. Sorry, I dropped the ball there. I was running a race, trying not to die. But we have had some videos go up in the last week. Bob, the cigar guy,
Yes.
Out of the videos that have been posted in the last week, I see you over there cheating.
I am
looking
cheating.
over at your phone. Oh, what's cigar should we?
I am cheating.
Week? Just shows you that he doesn't watch any of the videos that I make.
I watch all of them, and I comment on every last one. Nah. I watch the whole thing.
What out of those videos has been nice to have gone back and maybe been refreshed on, or you didn't remember being said, or you remember it being said, but you were waiting for that video to pop out or something to come out on that video? What has been maybe not your favorite video? It could be your favorite video if you wanted it to, but what has been something that's really stood out to you from the PCA content in the last week?
Well,
and also, all of you who are in the chat, please do chime in if you've been watching the videos. Hopefully, you've been watching the videos. If you haven't, shame on you. Go watch the playlist.
So, let's see. 7 days ago was Xeno. Xeno was amazing. It was awesome. Chief did some great capturing of Law with the hands and stuff. That was hilarious. I enjoyed the time I spent with Law magnificently. And then the Natural Cigar video was good. The Guri Cigar video, which was one they asked us if we do a video, and there was a language problem. And what I remembered in my head was that the language problem was a whole lot worse than it was. And Chief did a real good job of putting out good content that was easily consumable.
Luckily, I had a lot of B-roll, and I was able to edit out a lot of ums and translator times.
Right. So that was, and it was still a great video. And the cigar, I smoked a couple of their cigars now, and they're not bad at all.
And also, I do want to say I enjoyed the final product. Now it was obviously there's a language barrier there. They speak Hebrew, if I'm correct, and so from Israel, and so there was a translator there who did really well, but he didn't want to overstep, and he wanted the guy to talk. He knew English, obviously, he was able to hold a conversation. But I did, as I was shooting the video, I was like, man, this is going to be an editing nightmare. It wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Same.
Also, I had some good B-roll footage, thankfully. So back to you, Bob. Sorry.
The Placencia video was a lot shorter than I remembered. I thought that was going to be an 8 or 9 minute video, and it was extremely short. It didn't seem like you cropped much out of it. I also was impressed that, we did that video in the middle of an honest to God press show. They had a press party going on, and the fact that the audio was contained to where you hardly heard any of that noise in the background was very impressive. I really liked that a lot. The Black Label Trading Company video, I really enjoyed watching that again because, Chief talks about it. He doesn't watch the videos while he's shooting the videos. So when he watches it, he sees it for the first time. And when I'm doing the interviews, I'm focused on the next question. I'm focused on the flow and how to highlight the manufacturer, whoever it is. And so I actually got to see a lot of it for the first time. And I really appreciated the conversation we had. It was really, really genuine. It was really, really nice. And James Brown is a neat fella. I can't wait to see him again next year. And his cigars are good too. So I know Gary Brooks has smoked through almost every last one in the Beatbox box, which is really, really good. So those, I liked them all. I really did, but those are the ones that kind of stuck out to me. Chief, which ones just cranked your tractor?
So you kind of hit it the nail on the head with the, we talked about this last week, so it's kind of a slow pitch to you, but when I am shooting the videos, I am more concerned about framing, whether or not this lens needs to be, out or in, right? Making sure, what the content looks like, and you get a
near far.
Near far. Get a better dramatization when it comes to, to that. But what I will say is, so continuing on with that is, I'm worried about how everything's framed, how if I need to set the ISO myself, or if I just and I think I left the ISO on just auto the whole entire time. So some of the videos you guys can see some breathing of the ISO.
ISO is in search of?
I'm not sure exactly what it stands for, but it's basically the amount of light that's being brought in to the sensor for how if you're in a dark room, you crank your ISO up high. If you're in a bright area, you crank your ISO down low. And so I just left it on auto. So the worst one that you can see, it doesn't really detract, but it's something I pay attention to. Is like if you watch the Placencia one, if you go back and watch the Placencia one, just watch the wall behind them. It almost kind of glows because it's tracking the shadows and the light values and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really paying attention to the physical aspect of shooting the interview during the interview. I don't pay attention to the technical aspect of what's going on, the content, for the most part. Now, Sokka is one that I pay attention to the content too, because when I'm there, Sokka, and if you watch the video, Sokka, I don't think he looks at the camera but maybe twice. He is looking at Bob or he's looking at me.
Right.
He's back and forth. And I also get to sit down for that interview. And so it's nice to be able to chill and hang out and do that. But most 90+% of the videos are me not paying attention to anything. So
making sure nobody walks in front of the camera.
It was really neat to hear James Brown talk about why he has Blackwork Studio and why he has Black Label Trading, and how he talked about, he's got one because it's more of like punk rock and grunge metal, and the other one's like, old classic hip hop and stuff like that. And I've always had the question in my head as well, as like, well, does James Brown only own one and he just works for another? Because when the press releases come out, or whenever I've ever had to do anything, it talks about out of Oveja Negra, which he owns the Oveja Negra. He owns it all. So,
which is Black Sheep, by the way.
Right, in Spanish. And so it was kind of cool to see that that's why he's got Black Works and Black Label, is they're, two heads of the same company, in a sense of being, done at the Oveja Negra factory that he owns, and he blends and he does all the work for both of those. Yeah, also he's got another couple other companies that are attached to it. But getting to hear the reasoning why he does artwork and bands on one the way he does, and artwork and bands on the other the way that he does. And I thought you had a really good question about, blending to music or blending to style. Like, do you go into that blend saying, okay, I want this to be this? And he's kind of just like, I just kind of let it take me where I go. I did find it interesting that he openly said that blenders can't really truly affect like transitions in first, third, second, third, or quarter, half, third. That was interesting. I don't
know if I agree with 100%, because you can front load, back load.
I'm not gonna say he's wrong,
but I've heard other blenders say you can front load, back load. You can change it a little bit, and I think you can do that in changing the blending of the leaves and put a little leaf here, put a little leaf there.
Listen, the man's been blending cigars for.
He got technical too. He got nerdy,
right?
Which was hilarious. I hope he likes it.
But if you don't know what Bob's talking about one of the edits I threw in the middle of the video today. But I will say, like, it was nice to, because that was a longer interview. That means, it's not a Steve Sokka interview where it's an hour long, and it's not an Aganorsa Leaf video where it's an hour long. But I think it was like 13 minutes or something.
Yeah, it was good. It was over 10 minutes.
I actually told Bob the Cigar Guy before the show started, we were talking about the content that's been coming up and all that stuff, and I said that I feel like so far this has been his best interviewee that he's done with any of the videos so far this year. There wasn't a pause between questions. It was as soon as James Brown finished, answering one question, you are already on it with another question. So it was like you actually had a set list of questions for James Brown this year, and maybe you were just kind of going off of things he said. It kind of piqued your interest, and let me think of that. But it wasn't like, oh, what was that question I had? Oh yeah, this. So I think that was probably my best.
So 1 out of 15
content.
Chief approves.
18.
That's not bad.
18.
1 out of 18 Chief approves.
Let's see. So Gary Brooks' favorite moment so far has been when the midget came up and gave you a hug at Aventura. It's about Rane Hesha.
That was fun.
Supreme Tobacco wants to know, why didn't Gary let the other guy speak? I think the translator was just kind of letting him do his own thing, and letting him, say what he did. There were some times that I did edit out some parts where the reason I edited out the translator is because he said what Guri wanted to say, and then Guri said it. So I didn't feel like leaving in, the translator's part and then taking Guri out. I felt like it was better to leave Guri in and take the translator out. There were a couple times where the translator's left in, though. Sammy Flo says, Placencia was good. Can't wait to try the Alma de Cielo.
Delicious.
Scream Tobacco says, the Black Label Trading Company video is next for him. Sammy Flo says, Jack Hire video was hilarious. You need him on Chief Talk. Absolutely. That man's a busy man. Gary Brooks says he thought the Guri one went well. The ISO stands for International Standards Organization. Sammy Flo says Bob is a professional. And then Scream Tobacco says didn't know he was a translator. He was translating. I don't know if he was his translator, if he's a part of the company. I don't know. But
he was introduced as his translator.
He was translating for him. And again, there are parts of the video that are cut out where he's speaking, but Guri ends up saying what the translator said back to him. Because there were a couple times where he said things wrong, like in the English language. He was like, "You have 5 factories in Nicaragua," and I was like, "Where'd the money coming from? Because I ain't getting no kickback from Bob the Cigar Guy's factories in Nicaragua, let alone 5."
No, he said he had 5 different factories so that he can have different flavor profiles.
No, what I'm saying though is when he spoke, he said, "You have 5 factories."
Yeah. And he had a hard time with the word philosophy.
Correct.
Which is a lot of his cigars. Yeah.
I was thankful that I did end up getting a lot of B-roll for that video because I ended up having to use almost all of it.
I'm glad you didn't focus on how many glasses of whiskey he put in my glass, because I was, honest to God, I was so glad I had to go out to the car and dump my backpack because I was struggling. I knew we had 45 minutes or 30 minutes to our next thing, and I had to walk something off because they kept filling that glass up full. So
you will be surprised just as everybody else will be surprised.
There's still some bangers in there, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, heck yeah. Now all of them. I mean, you've got I think what we were talking about, we had 8 or 7 more videos left, long form content. And obviously we've talked about some of the companies, and like I said earlier, Agnor Salif, they're coming up eventually. There's actually a video that Bob the Cigar Guy does not know that is going to be coming up on the interviews of PCA.
Oh, so, my!
That'll be fun to post. It's actually gonna be the very last video. Save the best for last. Gary Brooks says, made me want to try them in the whiskey too. Now that was funny, and that was deliberate for me, because when we showed up, so to do a little, look at there, it's no Ender. Welcome into the show. How are you doing this evening? Glad to see you back, brother. How you been? So we were actually setting up to do our interview with Natura, and we were waiting for a media company to be done. They had kind of carried over into our time, which is fine because we book out for an hour. And we expect that kind of stuff. You got to go to the bathroom. You've got stuff you want to handle or whatnot. So we book out for an hour. So we're standing there and waiting for those guys to finish up, and they get done. They wheel their stuff off, and Bob sits down. And as soon as Bob sits down, this dude comes walking over. You're Bob the Cigar Guy. Oh, we want you to come over and do media with us too. And they were talking about, this guy, he's so good. They were talking about the guy with Natura Cigar. And they're like, but you come over, you come do an interview with us as soon as you're done. We have whiskey. We drink. We drink. We have a lot of it. And so we got over there, and the first thing that we did when we got over there was we're handed glasses. It's funny. I think it's funny you brought
they're up there. Yeah, they told me to take them home.
Here, actually, I'm gonna put you on solo so I can.
They're neat little glasses too. But yeah, they had 3 whiskeys. One was from Israel, an American whiskey from Israel, and then they had 2 others which were meant to pair with cigars. And they did not explain to me, I don't think Chief's going to talk about this, The first one was 80 proof. The next one was 90 something proof. The next one was 120, 130 proof. It was a monster, and they just kept. Well, I'll let Chief tell the rest of that story, but.
Well, I don't really know anything about the whiskey and what it was. I didn't catch that part of the conversation, because once we finished.
Well, they didn't tell me what it was till after it was over.
Well, once we finished with our interview with Jacob and Natura, I was actually kind of on the fence of like, oh, can I just dip off and maybe just let Bob do this on his iPhone or something, and he can upload a video for PCA once in his life. But got over there, set up the tripod and everything, and sorry, I'm lighting a cigar. I'll show you the glass in just a second. So get over there, and I see all of these glasses on barrels. They had, honest to God, whiskey barrels across their whole entire booth, and they were using them for storage. They were using them to put stuff on, for pictures and all that kind of stuff, and for the video and whatnot. But they also had these glasses just everywhere, and they're laser etched Guri cigars on there. Look at that quality! Isn't that so nice?
It's nice.
It's so nice. But I'm used to the Glencairn glasses, right? This is like a baby Glencairn with like a wine stem on it. I guess it does, sort of the same thing without maybe Glencairn's probably a trademarked item or something. But it does the same thing, a little nose and whatnot. It's got the bulb on the end, and they just hand it to me. It's like, you drink with us. It's like, okay. And it was, it wasn't very much. It might have been, halfway up the bulb, and it was good. It was actually really good. I enjoyed it. But as the interview ended, I was like, okay, I'm going to run around and I'm going to grab the B-roll of all of the booth of the cigars and whatnot that were put in the video. I looked over, and they're pouring more. And I didn't know if they just reused somebody else's glass and were going to pour to me. So I just ducked out slowly and said, I'll catch you at the next one. And poor Bob Cigar Guy, he got inundated with pour after pour after pour. Luckily, there was a good amount of time in between the Guri cigar interview and the Black Label Trading interview. Now, the Plasencia interview went up in between those, but I had forgotten because I've been going off of the schedule of how to release these videos. Plasencia was not on our schedule originally. We got that video scheduled on day one. So that was actually, if you go back and watch there's a wardrobe change of Bob in the video before and after the Plasencia one, because that was the day one video we shot. But I was like, I haven't uploaded the Plasencia one yet. So I was like, oh, man, I missed it.
They came up to you for that video and to ask you to come to the media party.
They did. I'm hard to miss. Let's see. Need to pick up some Zeno next time I see the yellow school bus. Yeah, go check out the Zeno tracker. If you go to Tobacco Cupcake's Instagram, he has the Zeno tracker with all the events. You may have an event near you coming up. Sam Flo says, have you received any feedback from the people you have aired? I've talked to a few people. Obviously, over on Instagram, I'm posting some short form content of some of the videos. Not all the videos work out for the short form content. And those companies like Plasencia responded back to me yesterday on Instagram. Once PCA is done, I will send out emails to each of those companies with the video and a link to the video and say, hey, thank you for your time. If you want to share this to your website or your socials or email blast or whatever, please feel free to do it. And then it also opens up the conversation for bringing somebody from their company on the show, possible sponsorship opportunities in the future. Alex Mendes has been good slammed with work. Oh, hate to hear that, brother. Megan Porter says he kept me buzzed the third day. I bet having to work right across from those guys was quite the party.
I wish I would have thought about it. I would have went over there on the third day and say, I'm driving home, so if you've got any open bottles, I can go ahead and take them home with me. But I didn't even think about it because a lot of places had a lot of alcohol and a lot of places had a lot of coffee. One or the other. Some were both.
But nobody had coffee like Zeno.
That Zeno coffee was good from what I hear.
So Alexander says the tulip glasses are awesome for tasting, and then Gary Beck says the Copita whiskey glasses are nice. Dan Burns says, "Okay, gotta go and sell my truck. Wish me luck. Good luck, Dan Burns.
Good luck. Don't drink the moonshine until you finish bartering,
Right?
negotiating.
Yeah, don't lose your wits. But no, it's a cool little glass. I'm actually surprised that you got to bring home 2 of them. So, neat little glasses.
Made for good pictures.
Yeah, just make sure I don't put the big logo in the middle of like a Drew Estate picture or something. I have to do that with these Glencairn ones because these are Corona cigar ones. And then I've got a glass that I use over here somewhere. It's this one. It's a Underground Sun-Grown glass. So I don't have a bunch of non-branded glassware.
I just bought these gorgeous bad boys. They're non-branded and they are beautiful. I need to break them in.
I did not. Bob, I don't know if you have or not. I'm sure. I know that you had said, Bob, that they were pretty active on the Guri Cigar Facebook page.
Very active.
So maybe you could get over there. Maybe they've got or I don't know. When I was trying to look up stuff on them, they didn't have a website. It was all just ported back to Instagram and Facebook. So I don't know. It might be hard to figure it out. I'm not sure. Supreme Tobacco says I got to head out as well. Going to grab some dinner with the fam. Good night, fam. Catch y'all next week. Supreme Tobacco, I love you. But no, back to the question about the or the statement about what's been some of my favorite content since last week, and James Brown kind of takes the cake there with just being able to listen back to that really for the first time and hearing more, because there's some Black Label Trading stuff that I really hang heavy with. It's some good stuff.
Intergalactic for one.
Intergalactic is good. The Green Hornet, I think is what it is. Is it Green Hornet?
The Hornet and the Green Bee, I think.
It's Killer Bee. Killer Bee. I think they do have a Green Hornet, but the Killer Bee is one I really like from them as well. There's a couple blends that I've had the chance to smoke, and I'm like, ooh, those are pretty nice. But no, getting to listen back to that for really the first time was really entertaining. Just listening to James Brown. We've done Black Label Trading before with PCA content, but we had the other co-owner Derek on, and that was a good one. I mean, that was a show where it was like, let's just talk about every blend, and we got to walk through the whole entire booth. It was blend after blend after blend after blend. So it was actually kind of nice to only have one thing to really talk about, and then just kind of talk about the essence behind the company, behind the brand, behind the name, behind James Brown. So I hope to be able to get some content with him in the future. I don't know if it'll be a Chief Talk thing or what, but and
he was digging my shoes. He was loving them British Knights.
James Brown is a sneakerhead. I don't know if he loved them.
No, he said he loved them.
He said, man, I haven't seen those since the 80s.
Since middle school is what he said.
I'm not sure if he meant those should have stayed in the 80s.
No, we talked afterwards.
Oh, did you?
He liked them.
Alexander, what cigars did you both try that you enjoyed the most from PCA? Cigars from PCA that I've really enjoyed a lot are the Red Meat Lovers Fratanga. This was not released at PCA, but I got it at PCA. Actually, 2 of them from the same company. Camacho with the broadleaf and Camacho with the triple Maduro. Camacho also released their new cigar this year. I have not yet sat down to smoke it yet. Really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the Avo Synchro 10-year Anniversario. Oh, talked about Sunday, smoked a cigar that I was going to smoke on Saturday, and I'm glad I didn't smoke it on Saturday because I smoked the Avo Classico. Not a fan. I've never really been a big fan of the
Avo Nicaragua?
No. The Avo, whatever I just said. The Avo Nicaragua, the Avo Synchro Nicaragua. I liked it a lot. But the other one.
Classico.
Yeah, Classico was not a fan of. What else? Cigars that I smoked that from since PCA that I've enjoyed.
No, it said at PCA.
I mean, I'm gonna just say I'm gonna lump them all in at PCA and since PCA. I didn't smoke a lot at PCA. At PCA, one of my most favorite cigars that I smoked was the San Andreas from Pastania. That was one of the cigars I smoked at PCA. Smoked the Dominicana abandoned Dominicana at PCA. Enjoyed that cigar, especially like I said in the Toro. I really like it in the Toro. What else? Didn't smoke a whole lot at PCA. Since PCA, I've had some winners. I've had some losers. I've smoked one cigar from Black Star Line. It's got a Spanish name, and I was not a big fan of it. It was a Corojo, and I expected it to be a little more flavorful than it was, and to me, it just wasn't as good. But I've got a War Witch, I've got a Dark War Witch, and I've got the Firefighter cigar from them, I think. So I am excited to continue to smoke into those. I got a lot of cigars I still have yet to smoke. I got a lot of cigars in the house. I got a lot of cigars here. I'm trying to make my way through the cigars as much as I can. But I do know that we're about to have some pretty inclement weather for the next few days here in South Carolina. So I don't know how much smoking time I will be able to have when it comes to smoking the cigars. Now,
it doesn't bother me whether the weather's bad if I smoke cigars
Oh,
at the
yeah,
house.
because you have a $10,000 studio. Well, we have a $10,000 studio. It just happens to be on your property in your backyard. But
I built it
back.
here.
I take it back because Saturday, I am smoking barbecue all day for Mother's Day on Sunday, and if the weather is inclement, I'm just going to put up the brand new pop-up tent, 10 by 10 pop-up tent I just bought for the Highlands in a couple weeks, and I'll sit outside and smoke cigars under that while smoking meat. So I might be able to get in some more cigars. What about you, Bob, the cigar guy?
Pastania was good. I really, really liked that San Andreas. It was fantastic. The 10-year from Nick Melillo Foundation was amazing.
Haven't smoked it yet. I've been waiting for a time to smoke it.
The 10-year from Saka was amazing.
Didn't get one.
The Dominicana was good. I had it before, but it was really, really good.
San Andreas.
I already said that.
Oh, did you?
I did. That was the first one I said. I didn't have the same Camacho as you had, so I don't have that same experience. After PCA, I smoked the Almade's, and that Joker is amazing. That's a fantastic, phenomenal cigar. The Adventura that I smoked. What did I smoke? Did I smoke anything at Adventura? I didn't.
I haven't smoked any Aventura yet.
I still have the Aventura pack of 10 or of 8, and I'm going to go through those in reviews. While Chief has been busy doing all the PCA content, I've been doing reviews and just saving them on my computer. So once the PCA event, the PCA coverage is done, it's my hope that I can almost just start knocking out all the cigars from PCA that we got, and just start putting out all that content too, because there's some bangers in there. And then there's some cigars that may not be in your flavor profile, and I want you to know that too, because Christmas is coming faster than we expect. And when your sweetie says, what do you want for Christmas? It'd be nice for you to say, well, I really like this or that or the other thing, because it sounds like it's really good. And so that would give you a chance to get you some of that as well.
The 10-year DTT denied is a real thing, because he literally looked at me and said, you're not going to like it. It wasn't not that you're going to like it, so you're not going to like it as much, because it is a lighter cigar. And then he was like, what do you want to smoke? Okay, here's a Bronzeback Umbagog. The Aventura pack has the PCA 2026 cigar. Very cool.
That's correct.
Ordered one this whole week. I had something I was going to say. Oh, so you were talking about once the PCA coverage ends, you're going to start posting videos again. We will have another full week of PCA videos coming up. So We will still have this same conversation next week. Hey, what were your favorite 5-6 videos in between the last week? But I think next Friday, Saturday, or the following Monday will be the last PCA interview. As long as I upload tomorrow, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday. That should be it. Now, there is a part of me that might try to compile some videos or compile some clips out of all of the footage that I took at PCA and make a smash up or something like that. I saw if you go, well, I don't know if you guys can see it on your end, but if on my end through the YouTube studio stuff, the playlist for PCA is just over 7 hours long right now. So there's 7 hours worth of content that from PCA that we were able to, which is actually kind of crazy to think about. That there's 7 hours of content. Now each video has an extra minute of an intro and an outro. Some videos have extra stuff thrown in intermittently throughout the thingamajig. But pretty cool that there's that much stuff to watch on PC, which I don't know. I need to fact check it because that doesn't seem right that there's 7 hours worth of stuff to watch. Yeah, there's 18 videos over there, but some of those videos are like 3 to 5 minutes long.
Yeah, but soccer's an hour long.
Yeah, but that's one. So I don't know if there's 6 hours. There may be. I don't know. That's what YouTube told me. I did not fact check it. Alex Noander says, "Is the San Andreas similar to the Norteño? I am trying to find a replacement." No. No.
I can't think of a cigar that's anywhere like a Norteño.
You know, I'm willing to bet the Menelik from Foundation would smoke a lot like.
I've only smoked one Menelik, so I can't speak on it. And it's been a while. We got a Menelik in our pack, didn't we?
No. We got the
Olmec Claro.
No, didn't get the Olmec. Got the Matapa.
And we got the Wise Man.
Yep, got a Wise Man.
I thought we got
two Wise Man. And
what is the cross one? I thought that was a Menelik, the blue and green cross.
No, that's the Wise Man.
Is it?
Yeah. Unless your pack had a Menelik in it, mine did not, because I love Menelik. I love them to death. Gary Brooks says Sad Norteño is gone. Absolutely, there are boxes.
They're still out.
I've been to 3 Drew Estate events, and since they announced they were ending that line, and there have been multiple boxes for sale, which just kind of goes to show that's one of the reasons why they kiboshed it, because they stopped producing it. And there's still boxes available out there. Now I'm upset about it because I love the Norteño, but it didn't hit. It didn't hit the same for everybody. There was something else I want to say. Now I can't remember what it was. But we are right here bumping up at 10 o'clock. And I've got some content that I plan on shooting here at the studio. And Bob's got to go to work tomorrow.
I do.
He's got to travel.
Then we got to travel tomorrow night.
So thank you all for hanging out with us again. Before we go, I do want to give a congratulations to Charles Adamson for this week's Stick Pick of the Week. Chief Stuggy Picture of the Week. If you're interested in winning your photo being a Stick Pick of the Week, post a picture of your cigar on Discord to be considered for next week's pick. If you look it up on Discord, it is Chief Talk Cigar Club. And if you can't find it there, find one of us in the DMs and we can shoot you the link to the Discord. But we do got a lot of people who have joined since last week, and a lot of photos going up. The action over on Discord has been up and popping.
I bet.
So I can't wait to see what photos come out for the rest of the week. Bubba Cigar, before you sign off, hit us with something.
Well, Gary Brooks posted a comment that said, "Love the nightly Bob videos sponsored by Villiger. They're awesome. They're phenomenal." Chief gets to go out and hang out with his boys when they're running around, and I just get to shoot the thing unless he scares me jumping in the pool. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the last night's the last
No,
PCA
second
night,
to last
night
night.
before last. But I'm going to tell you, this year
it was the second night. It was Saturday night because Mike wasn't with us.
That's right.
So it was the third to last one. So it was the second video, third from the end.
So the last 2 years, it's been sponsored by Villiger. Next year, 2026, we will have a new and exciting sponsor. That's right. And I'm looking forward to putting out that content for them. I really enjoy. I think it's valuable to do that content, so you can kind of see what's on the floor, and you can start putting a bug in the ear of your local shops of what you want. That's why I do it, and that I get to smoke cigars, and it's sponsored. So please keep watching it, because sponsors need to know people are watching our stuff. But we'll be traveling Friday night after work. We'll be there with Mark Ryan's family in honoring his memory. And so that will be what we're doing. We will not be doing second Saturday with the First Lady this Saturday. We'll be doing it next Saturday. It's just a decision we decided to make. And it's Mother's Day, so, do your Mother's Day things as well. Love your moms. If it wasn't for her, you wouldn't be here. And that's about it. So we'll be on second Saturday, First Lady, the third Saturday. So it'll be the next Saturday from now. So we're looking forward to see you there. We'll be doing great giveaways, and the First Lady has some killer content. So, Chief, back to you.
With that being said, we are going to sign out of the show. We're going to go Chief Modoc head here. I did not say it earlier, but big shout out to our sponsors, Drew Estate and Natural Cigar, for making sure that Chief Talk is brought to you guys every single week. We've got them locked in at least for the next year. Actually, we already have Drew Estate locked in for next year too. So thankful for all the companies who have sponsored Chief Talk in the past, who currently sponsor, and who will sponsor in the future as well. Again, just a really good time being able to hang out with all of you guys and gals as we smoke, we talk, we hang out, and just have a good time. Again, we do have another full week of PCA videos, so next week will be a regular production Chief Talk, but with the end of PCA interviews and content of the sort, means that I'm going to start reaching out to people that I have talked to at PCA and said, hey, I'd love to have you on my show. And they said, hey, just send me an email. We'll get it on. We'll get it popping. So hopefully here soon in the next couple of weeks, we will start having some guests here on Chief Talk. Some new brands, some old brands, some new faces, some old faces, just to be able to hang out and have a good time with us all. And let them be a part of the Chief Talk family that we have all come to know and love. Do take it easy over the next couple days. I love you all. Thank you all for saying your goodbyes in the chat. I'm not going to pop them all up. I see them. Thank you all. Have a good week. Smoke good cigars. Make good decisions. And if you don't make good decisions, at least be good at those things. Love you all. Thank you. Hanging out with you in the Chief Talk Discord. And I'll see you next week.
Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com.
Time to relax. Whew. Man, I'm beat. Whew. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Show's over. Go home. Go home. Show's over. What are you waiting for? You waiting for another show? This is a one-ticket entry. Go. Bye. Go. Go. Go.